Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Let's see who comes in, who joins us this time. I know that several of our regulars aren't going to be here. There's been some struggles going on for a lot of individuals in the community. So I know that it's challenging for some people to get in here. I think that some people also were used to when we were doing them on Saturday. So the switch a few months ago also affected people, but I think really right now there's just something going around that we're all having massive struggles. And I was just thinking the other day, in kindergarten, I think it was preschool kindergarten, where they'd show you the emotion wheel and they'd ask you how you were feeling, or this is something that they do in therapy also for young kids to help them define their emotions. And I was just thinking about that the other day, thinking there are emotions that I'm feeling that don't even have words. They are not on the wheel. I can't point to one. I can't even point to three because I think I'm feeling all of them right now at the same time. And then some you don't even have listed. So yeah, that's where I'm at. How is everyone else? Brian? Ooh, Martin from Scotland. Fun. Albin, what's up? So if you have a definition for an emotion that you're feeling right now, feel free to share that here. If you're feeling like me and your emotions is something like hitting the keyboard a lot because there's just so much, that's okay too. Aaron, hello. Well enough. I like that. Sometimes we just have to remind ourselves that well enough is well enough, that we don't have to be doing excellent. I mean, it's often that we think that when we say we're feeling a lot of emotions that they're all bad. And there are definitely some really difficult ones in there, but there's also some excitement and some hope, and the more positive emotions are not necessarily positive. I don't want to attribute emotions to be good or bad, but the ones that make us feel better, the ones that we don't necessarily have to put a lot of energy and effort into navigating, right? So as everybody settles in, for those of you that this is your first stream, welcome. I am Amanda. I just want to remind you guys that I am not a mental health professional. We have this stream just so we can share where we're at with our mental health, so we can talk about our wins, so we can talk about our challenges and our struggles. But if you are in a mental health crisis, please make sure that you are reaching out to a professional and getting that support that you deserve. Aaron says the bad emotions give me more opportunity to enjoy the good emotions even more. Absolutely. Alvin says it was really bad a little while ago, but it's better now. I'm glad that it's moving in the right direction for you. Dean, I was just thinking about you the other day. Actually, it has been a while. Hello, Mr. Nobody. I'm going to say Mr. Somebody, actually. But hello. And hello, Ashley and Robert. So usually the norm here is that I set a goal of $250 to raise money for outreach here in the community. We have done so much good. We've done so many things to help people with their mental health, both here in this community on YouTube and also out in the tangible real life community. The last time I was talking about the guy that I had got a guitar for because he was homeless, and that's what he wanted. He just wanted to be able to connect to that again. He was going through a really hard time, a lot of loss, and he was just wanting that comfort again. And I was able to do that because of the pledges and stuff here in the community. In the last couple of weeks, our last couple of streams weren't hitting those goals and stuff. So I wasn't able to do as much, still help some people with therapy, still send out some journals and stuff. But I have to be totally honest, and this is really hard for me to say. There's only been a couple of other streams ever where I have said this. The pledges are this week for my mental well-being because I lost my job last week, and that does not make me feel great. I lost my day job. I was a victim outreach coordinator, so doing social work and stuff like that. I lost that job, and we found out that Aaron is not going to qualify for paternity leave, so he gets no paid paternity leave or the bonus that he was supposed to get that we were relying on because I'm due within the next few weeks. I don't even know if this is going to be my last stream before I take a little bit of a break after I have the baby. So with that being said, things have just been really mentally taxing on that front. So this time the pledges are going to go toward stabilizing us before the baby gets here, and just making sure that we can all mentally handle everything before and after her arrival. So I appreciate you guys. Being supportive and stuff. You can still use the super chat or super sticker function to do that. If you do want to make bigger pledges, you can use the PayPal or Venmo, and I have my email up, so I will get notification of that. So I'm not going to set a goal because I feel like that's weird. I already feel awkward enough having this conversation with you guys. But you know what? Sometimes, let's just admit it. Our mental health is struggling because of very practical, logistical things, and people don't want to hear that. And I am not going to judge when not everyone can support in that way. That's totally fine. I don't expect that. But there are times when I don't need someone to talk to. I don't need thoughts and prayers. I need practical, logistical help to get through a season. And that's where I'm at right now. I need practical and logistical help to get through this season with my mental health intact. So I want to normalize that's okay to sometimes say, you know what? Sometimes I need groceries. Sometimes I need a little help with the things around the house. Sometimes I need help with childcare. Sometimes I need help with these other things. That's okay. Mental health support does not always have to just be, here's a hotline number, or I'm going to pray for you, or I'm sending you thoughts. If there is something practical, it's okay to say that. And I just want to be the person that normalizes that, even for me, it's so wildly uncomfortable. But I love you guys. Thank you, Erin. Thank you. I think I'll still keep track just so we can see what we have today. I don't know if I'll say it at the end or not, but thank you so much. And I hope you're still enjoying your shirt. I can't wait to see you in it. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Other Aaron, this is going to get confusing. So I'm going to say Aaron and Aaron is saying that there's Mr. Nobody and someone in the stream. It is kind of funny. I'm not seeing someone. Did I miss something? Ryan says, I'm so sorry. Yeah, and this came at a time I'm not really ready to talk in detail about the other stuff going on, the other emotional stuff going on, but there've been some other really, really big losses in my life. And I will go into more detail about that in the coming weeks. I'm not sure if in a live or a video or what I will use to do that. But there have been some other really big losses, and I'm fine. Baby's fine. That's not it. But it's been really, really hard emotionally to get through. So I'm really appreciative of the ways that the people close to me, the people that are still standing, have shown up for me in support and in love. I really, really appreciate it. I don't know why that ink just smudged. I feel like I'm rambling because talking about this stuff is making me feel a little anxious. So I think that's normal. I'm just going to own it. I'm just going to own that I'm feeling a little anxious. Thank you, Mr. Somebody. I'm still going to say Mr. Somebody. Just want you to know that. Thank you so much. This is what I was saying. I knew that if I was honest, that you guys would show up and embrace me, and I really need that right now. I'm not saying that I'm going to starve to death or anything. We're definitely food secure right now. We have most of the baby stuff taken care of and whatnot. So I don't want to sob story and say, oh my God, we're going to starve and the baby's going to starve. That's not the case, but it is making it very difficult to meet ends meet, to meet the things that are coming up, you know? So every little bit helps. I've been focusing more on my other avenues, so I'll probably be doing more content here up until the baby comes. I've been doing Poshmark and Pango. So for all the bookworms out there, I have a Pango. I'm going to link that in this video description. So if you're wanting to check that out later, there's mental health books, there's fantasy books, there's YA books. I actually really like YA books. There's historical books, romance books, you name it. And then Poshmark is largely for clothing and collectibles and some essential oils, things like that on there. So those are just two other ways that you can support my personal endeavors as opposed to the community outreach. So those are two separate things. So the community outreach is the Patreon, usually the pledges here on the stream, but I might also have my own little ventures and of course my happiness boost course. So if you're needing a little direction yourself in your mental health journey, there's always that as well. So I just want to throw those things out there because I hate just saying, hey guys, give me money. Like that feels so gross. But if I feel like I can provide value too, then that helps a little bit. Thank you. Yes. Whoa, this stream just totally glitched there for a second. Horizon Black says sociopathic progress, 1 year on antipsychotics, Abilify. I'm actually feeling things. I felt stress and was able to identify why. I'm almost connected with a new person, but still not quite. That's awesome. I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna give preliminary snaps here. I'm actually gonna read the good news story because I feel like I just went off on this tangent that might have brought the energy down a little bit. So I'm going to read the good news story. Then I'll read some more of the comments and we'll do our snaps. So I think it's really important that we're focusing on that, especially when we are in that point of struggle, you know? So I thought this was a really awesome story because I remember learning in school when I was getting certified as a holistic nutritionist. That was my first time going to school. That farmers have a very, very high rate of unaliving themselves. And so this article says farmers face one of the highest rates of unaliving themselves. The social worker believes the solution is buried in their land. After seeing the farmer mental health crisis up close, Kyla Anderson developed new treatment techniques based on growers' deep connection to the land. Kyla Anderson stands in front of some photos in the farmhouse where she grew up. So this is her farmhouse. Near the tiny town of Sabetha in the northeast corner of Kansas. Outside, frozen February fields of wheat, hay, and corn stubble repeat across the rolling hills. A licensed social worker, Anderson knows firsthand that farmers have a high propensity for depression and one of the highest rates of unaliving of any occupation, often attributed to the demanding and precarious nature of the job. Yet she's found that crisis line staffers, doctors, and therapists in farm country often don't have the cultural training to recognize the signs of emotional stress unique to farmers. And I like that this is being brought up also because different people in different cultures or in different communities are going to have different mental health needs. So just the blanket call a hotline or the blanket go to the hospital, whatever. Yes, that can be very helpful in the moment as a kind of quick fix in many cases, but people need individualized attention and care. They need people to listen to their specific needs. She wanted to explore an emerging idea in psychology that farmer stress is deeply intertwined with the land, but as a therapist, she needed a tool that could make this connection clear to farmers themselves. And then she saw it right here on the wall of her childhood home, an aerial photograph of her own family's farm. The house, the old barn, the windbreaks, red cedar trees, and these same fields in summer green. I can literally smell the cedar. I love cedar. Almost every farmhouse in the U.S. has a photo like this hanging on its walls, just another member of the family, as it were. I walked by these images and they've been there in various forms for my whole childhood. It was like, whoa, said Anderson, 40. Farmers don't typically talk about their emotional lives, like a lot of us, but these photos or a hand-drawn map of their operation can become an unthreatening tool that therapists or family doctors use to start a discussion that eventually reveals a farmer's underlying emotional struggle. A cattle feedlot, for instance, might be the locus of intense stress when there isn't enough money to feed the cattle, or a reliable field of alfalfa could be a solace. She used the idea to create the land logic model, a new way to train healthcare providers that uses farmers' relationship to their land to identify and treat depression, anxiety, and other emotional issues within a notoriously hard-to-reach community. Operating in areas that typically don't have enough mental health professionals, she's trying to get family doctors, crisis hotline staffers, county health workers, pharmacists, and others to recognize what it can mean when a farmer says, I can't afford to feed my cows. I think we can all relate to that on some level, at least. Or the sorghum crop just failed. Which brings us to another point that sometimes, I mean, whether it's farming or whether it's our jobs, whatever the case is, sometimes that doesn't work out and we have to work together to figure out what else we can do. These statements are often much more than financial stress. So financial stress can contribute to the anxiety and the depression, but it often goes a lot deeper. So over the last 3 years, Anderson has kicked off most of her land logic training sessions and presentations across Kansas, Colorado, and elsewhere in the Western US with these aerial photos and watched farmers' eyes light up as if to say, someone understands me. So is that not beautiful? The article goes on, but I don't want to read the whole thing because it's several pages long. But is that not beautiful that they are feeling understood in this community that most people just don't really think often about? We don't think about the unique mental health struggles that farmers would deal with. I know truck drivers have very specific mental health struggles. My parents were both truck drivers. I was conceived in a cab. And there were a lot of very unique struggles that they face. So different communities are going to have different struggles. I know here we have several tribes. We have several Native American tribes. And depending on what their culture and beliefs are, they can have very different treatment. It looks very different. I did several classes, several workshops and stuff on treatment for mental health within these different tribes. It's very interesting. Got to catch up a little bit here. Ooh. Master Ganja says, oh yeah, just a success to report. This year marks 21 years without a drop of booze. I quit as soon as my son was born. Big snaps for you. Still doing the preliminary snaps. We'll do the official Snap Cup song and wins here shortly. Oh no, Ashley says she's gonna have to jump off. Sorry, best friend, for what you're going through. Hang in there. I love you. I love you too. Thank you so much. I'm sorry you have to run. Gotta bring my energy down a little bit here. I was just watching the email to make sure that pledges weren't going through that way. Thank you, Ashley. You've got this too. I'm rooting for you. Mr. Nobody says, my grandfather was born in 1885 and was a homesteader in 1903. He managed to build a successful farm of 640 acres. He was Norwegian, so naturally unemotional, but was always very generous. Farmers do tend to be very generous. I've noticed that. Mr. Ganja says, it hasn't been easy. Yes, I get tempted. Then I think what's more important, booze or being a father. So my son was my motivation. That's beautiful. Aaron says, funny, I've stopped drinking and I might start as soon as our daughter, I still love saying that, is born. Yeah, I am definitely going to have a glass of wine pretty early on. But at first in my journey, I had said, I'm going to completely give up. I made a blog about that, about how I'm completely giving up alcohol. But that wasn't the right decision for me. I feel like everyone has different decisions in their journey. And I realized that I can control myself, and I can have a social drink sometimes without losing control. So I still do want to partake in that. And if it does become a problem, of course, then I can reevaluate that. But Cleo says my wife is pregnant. Can't wait with my second baby. Congratulations. Oh, Ashley says decide to stay on and listen while I do some cleaning. You help me so much, so I want to stay. Oh, I love hearing that in every way. Just you made me want to stay. I listen to videos while cleaning or talk on the phone while cleaning. I swear, if Aaron is still in here, there have been so many times where him and I have talked on the phone and I have just cleaned my whole house. Hey T, Team Montgomery's on here. Just remember, just like when we first reached out for help with our mental health, how hard that was. Sometimes in life we have to ask for help. True, that's absolutely true. That just because you get past that first hump, it can still sometimes be really difficult. Oh, Aaron is still here. Yeah. So thank you for all of the cleaning that you have helped me do over time. So I'm going to do our snaps. Oh, Aaron says, this is true. She'll make me feel like I should drive over and help because I can hear her cleaning in the background. I want to do a real deep clean before Aurora arrives, before the baby arrives, because I feel like I will get super stressed in the postpartum phase if the house is just gross, because for me, and this is something I do talk about in the course and stuff, is when your environment is very cluttery, when your environment is disorganized, then your mind tends to be very disorganized. So it is important that you're having an environment that works for you and your brain, especially when you have ADHD or you're otherwise neurospicy like I am. Aaron says, we've been doing a lot of cleaning lately. House is decent right now. That cracks me up simply because I feel like to a man's standards, to a typical man's standards, the house is Buckingham fucking Palace right now. But to me, I'm going, there's dust on that over there. We need to dust that. Or when's the last time I dusted the fan in my office here? I don't turn it on very often. I don't like fans, but I'm thinking, when's the last time I dusted that fan? So I am very picky, so I think it's funny that you're also saying decent. So let's dive into our snaps, which come with the song. It's inspired by Legally Blonde 2. I will post over on the community page here on YouTube and allow people to share their wins that I will then read here on the stream so we can celebrate each other. So we are balancing talking about our challenges and our wins, our mental health wins. And I like to remind everybody on the post and on the stream, everybody has a win. So I hope that this inspires you and gives you some examples if you're feeling like, I just don't have any. So with that being said, snap cup time, gather you round, friends and foes together, united and bound. Pass it to your neighbor instead of blowing up, and you'll find harmony and love in a snap cup. Thank you. You weren't supposed to do that. Thank you anyway. Okay. Oh, Edward says, love your relationships. It took me a while. It took me a while to get here. Oh, Ashley, while you're cleaning, I'm going to read your win. My win was realizing I'm not okay and needed to open up a little bit and vent. I tend to bottle up my feelings because I don't want to bother anyone. Hands up to everyone who has felt like that at some point. Right here, I felt that. I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of hands here in the chat. I was able to email you and also called a friend to help. I'm glad that I could be there, be one of those friends. The majority of the phone call was me sobbing, but she reassured me that I wasn't alone. My head is full of demons and dark thoughts most of the time, but I'm glad I was able to be pulled back from them. I'm glad you were able to email me. I'm glad that you were able to reach out to your friend. It's totally okay if the majority of the phone call was you sobbing, because sometimes we just have to detox everything out. If I said that I hadn't cried lately, I'd be a bold-faced liar, because I have done a lot of that. And a part of me is, it's pregnancy hormones, and a part of me is, no, there's a lot on you right now. It's very heavy. So big snaps to you for being able to be pulled back and come back from those. How am I hungry again? Good grief. baby gets hungry all the time and has to go to the bathroom all the time. It's crazy. I'm at that stage. I'm 36 weeks tomorrow. I'm at that stage where I have to pee like every 15 minutes and I'm hungry all the time and I want to eat everything all the time. So Scott Clark says, my wife and I had an honest conversation about how the unemployment is affecting me, and I made some positive changes in my life, doing small accomplishments to build myself back up. I have bigger goals, but small steps count. Big snaps to you for that conversation. I know that serious conversations, especially ones surrounding money and employment or unemployment, as I was saying earlier in this chat, can be really uncomfortable. But the fact that you were able to have that you're able to talk about how that's affecting you, that's huge. I'm glad you're making some positive changes. I feel like the small accomplishments are the ones that really build us up. So big snaps to you. It's okay that you have bigger goals. I think it's the Kaizen method of taking your bigger goals and breaking them down so that every day you're doing something toward those bigger goals, because it's very rare that we have a big goal and we just go accomplish it all at once. We have to break it down into smaller steps. So those smaller steps, those smaller goals lead up to our bigger goals. I will say that I was thrilled today. My big win was I had gotten 3 orders on my Pango, on my little bookshop that I made. See, I had this really dreamy daydream, like this really silly daydream that I was just going to run a bookshop in some quaint little village somewhere. And I thought about that for so long. And then I realized, book and mortar stuff is kind of going to the wayside anyway, tragically. So I ended up starting this before the financial challenges and stuff. I ended up starting this before, and it's just felt really good because it makes me feel in some way like I get to be that little bookshop owner. I get to connect with my parents because my mom was a big bookworm and my dad was doing reselling before that was the cool thing to do. So that's my win. I'm just going to throw mine in between Scott's and the next one. That was my little win, as they weren't $1 million or anything, but it made me feel really good that I can share that love of reading, that yes, I can make a little bit. I love packing things up. I always try to make it pretty, and I always include little free gifts and handwritten notes. So it just makes me really happy. It's something I enjoy doing. So the 3 of those today, after I think over a week of no sales in the shop, was my little win. And I get to live out that little daydream. So snaps for me. I'm going to give myself snaps too. Jake Smith says, I managed to get Easter weekend off, which will be spent with Kim and her remaining family members. That weekend also happens to be weekend of WrestleMania. Yes! I ended up going to WrestleMania when they came to Phoenix, and I know how pumped energetically you can get when waiting for any wrestling pay-per-view if you're into wrestling. I used to do pay-per-views with my dad when I was really into wrestling when I was a kid, and I just loved that energy. I loved that build up. It's just such an amazing experience to get all hyped up, and cheer or scream and get it out. I think it's a great outlet for that stagnant energy. So big snaps to you for getting to watch WrestleMania. I don't watch wrestling anymore, but I know that it can still be really awesome for people. The YouTube channel says, I'm always hungry too, don't worry. Maybe you're pregnant too. Elise, hello. I don't know how to say this. Zephyr Faborn, I hope I'm saying that right, had my coworker who was fighting depression make me a guitar stand. Made both of us happy when it's done. Oh my gosh, I want to see that. Send me an email or something, because I want to see that. That sounds so amazing. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to creating or supporting each other in these kinds of ways. When it's something tangible, it just makes the person who's doing it happy, and then it makes the person receiving it happy. So big snaps to you for that. Like I was talking about with my bookshop, where I really love getting to, create the little box and put all the goodies in there. But then the other person is always so happy. They'll send me messages or leave reviews about how they're so happy when they get that, because it just made them feel special. She's kicking right under my rib again. This has been her favorite thing, is kicking right under my right rib. Makes it a little hard to breathe for a second here and there. Oh, got an email. What to expect, by the way, is like an over-attached girlfriend. In this stream alone, I've gotten 2 emails from the What to Expect community, which is supposed to give you updates on your pregnancy and stuff, but then it gives you community stuff and you've won this, or click here to get this. And they send multiple emails a day and I'm going, guys, knock it off. Actually, I'm just going to drop. So I realized David is not in here. He usually drops the PayPal and Venmo link, like I said, for anyone who's wanting to do bigger pledges. That's the PayPal, so that way YouTube doesn't take a cut off. And then I always forget my Venmo. Venmo is, yeah. So you have those. Yeah, I forgot that David is not going to make it today. So David had surgery. David Gaps had surgery, so he's recovering. And Tony Travis had told me to tell everyone hi. He's not going to be able to make it because he was having another seizure and he is needing to rest and take it easy. So those are 2 of our regulars that are not here today. David's actually one of my unofficial assistants, so he helps a lot here in the stream, and he'll usually drop this stuff for me. If you're watching later, it's also in the video description, along with my Poshmark and Pango that I was talking about. The YouTube channel says, it's not possible me being pregnant. I'm a man with a big beard, but I'm active, so it's normal. I was totally kidding. I assumed your gender. Bad, Amanda, in 2025, but I think you'd said things in the past on other streams that had led me to believe that you were a male, so I was totally kidding. Eugene Asbel says, I'm still here, winner, winner, chicken nugget dinner. Not even chicken nuggets. I love it. Simple life. That is always the biggest win. Ryan Barron. Ryan, are you in here? I think I saw you a minute ago. Are you still in here? Ryan says, all my life I have stumbled on my feet, falling flat on my face at everything I've tried to accomplish in life. But my win is I've met people that showed me the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Thanks to all in the community, and snaps to you for continuing to rise, because that's the absolute truth. And it's one of those things that's really, really hard to put into practice. So I'm so proud of you for getting to that point. It's so hard to put that into practice because it can feel so unbelievably disheartening and frustrating when you try and it feels like you're just treading water. So I know several people here in the community that just felt like giving up right before they had arguably the biggest wins in their life. Erin, if you would like to share your story here, I know that you have an example of that. I won't out you, but I know you have an example of that. I love these stories though, because nobody is never going to fail. That's just that's insane to think. That's definitely a limiting belief that we think, oh, everybody else has it so easy, they're never going to fail. And I know I have people that will look at me and say, you have it so easy because you're an influencer, which I hate that term, but you're an influencer, you're a YouTuber, so you have to have it so easy. And they don't see behind closed doors. They don't see the fact that this channel doesn't even get monetized for most of its content. So I am just doing this to help other people and to raise awareness. People never understand that we all have this story. And I try to remind people that if you look at other people, they all have their own story going on. It's actually called sondering, when you look at other people and you realize that they have their own very distinct story that's separate from yours. I sonder a lot, where I just think, I wonder what that person's story is. I wonder what their inner narration is. But we have no idea how many times they've failed to get to where they are. But failure is just a lesson. Yay, Ryan is still here. Aaron says, you can out me anytime. I meant other Aaron. But if you have an example too, I'd be happy to read it. Rowdy Ruth says, I handled an entire week without anxiety. Healing is happening. Congratulations. I know that sometimes getting through the week can be so challenging and that you did it without anxiety. I'd love to hear what skills and tools that you use to accomplish that. But yep, healing is happening, and I'm very happy for you and proud of you. Evening, Eugene. I actually just read your win a couple minutes ago. Oh, here's Tony Travis. So Tony is not in here with us, but he had said that he wanted to send his love and to send love and energy back to him. That's what he asked for, is just for us to think of him and send him love and energy as he's been navigating some very difficult things himself. The biggest one is I survived my unalive attempt 3 weeks ago. Lots of moving parts, triggers that led to it. I was able to talk with Aiden's therapist. Aiden's his son. And it turns out that he is associating this house with trauma. So Tony's house with trauma. She and Aiden both told me that it isn't me, which means it's the trauma he's still processing from when his stepmother left. He was destroyed because they were very close and he loved her. I'm moving into a new place soon, so that will make things easier. That's awesome that they found that out, because that's something that might not have come out for a long time, if ever, without the help of a professional. Last one, my godson Matthew Anthony, who is now 5 months old. Whoa, I can't believe it's been that long. And already pulling up on things. You can see the wheels turning to start cruising. He is MHO, is now 5 months old and already pulling up on things. Oh, it just for some reason repeated. The first time he pulled up on the coffee table, he looked at me with a chuckle and that smile of "Mom screwed." He is Matt's clone in every way. Wish Matt was here to celebrate with us. So Matt was someone that unfortunately lost his life to unaliving, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. I know that you had several losses, but Matt had tragically lost his life. But Tony got to be Matthew's son's godfather and gets to be there for him. So lots of wins in there. I'm very happy to hear those wins. And I hope that you're getting through today and the seizure, that you're just able to relax. And I know that that has to be really scary. I've never experienced a seizure. I know it has to be very scary, but I hope that you're able to get through that. It sounds like you have experience with it and that you keep having these wins and keep staying here with us. So I do appreciate you sharing this. Luke Alone Production says, I started a new job this week and decided to lose some weight. Love it. I hope that helps you to feel better energetically and better about yourself. And I'm happy for your new job. And it's just to be clear, by the way, back I was talking about my situation. It's not that I am unwilling to look for another job, but let's be real. Nobody is going to hire me a month before I have to take maternity leave, right? So I'm trying to focus on other things, like my other ventures, my Posh and my Pango and Rover. I do dog sitting, dog boarding. I'm actually the highest rated in the Phoenix area, so I'm very proud of that. 369 5-star reviews. But it's not like I'm not trying to do other things. I just, with him talking about the job, I wanted to mention that, because I know a lot of people will say, well, why are you on here asking for help and not working? I'm working a lot, actually harder, I would almost say. Because now when you lose one source of income, now you have to try and compensate, especially when it's at a very urgent time, when you're not going to get all of this all these financial things that you were expecting. And on top of that, I know I told you guys, I think during the last stream, that I ended up in a hospital when I was in Hawaii. And my insurance isn't wanting to cover that. So love that too, where it's, oh yeah, not only do you have less income, but now you have these big, crazy expenses you have to try and fight. So I know that's a story of a lot of people in here. So I'm kind of sharing to also relate to a lot of us are having issues with the systems right now. Trust me. Michael Mayo says, I'm still alive. Can't get much more basic than that. You really can't. And snaps to you for still being here. I actually, let me pull this up, because I'd actually posted on Instagram something that will probably be very relevant. My last post on Instagram said, somebody recently told me they weren't good at anything, that They just did enough to get by. And I wanted to share this with you because I think it's relevant to this. I looked at them and said, well, that means that you're good at getting by, which honestly is a pretty damn impressive skill. They didn't say a word. They just sat there smiling quietly for a long moment. True story. They were just sitting there smiling, thinking, wow, I never thought of it that way. And one of the comments is, I need this encouragement every day so I can be able to heal. The other one said, never thought of it that way, with the clapping hands. So when you think that you're only good at surviving or only good at getting by or you're only in survival mode, that still means that you're good at surviving because you're still here. So I just wanted to share that nugget. I think we went 20 minutes without a pledge. I'm just kidding. Waterbug 46. Oh my gosh. This makes me think of Papa Roach. We went to see Papa Roach before this whole thing went down a few weeks ago. And I remember my dad was talking about, he had saw Papa Roach. They were opening for the VMAs way back in late 90s or early 2000s because I was watching for NSYNC. And he just goes, Papa Roach, are you kidding me? That's the name of a band. And he said he was going to start a band and he was going to be Daddy Waterbug and I was going to be Baby Waterbug. So Waterbug makes me think of my dad and makes me giggle. Waterbug says, went to a theme park by myself, had lunch, and rode one ride. Phew. That is braver than me, my friends. So kudos to you for that. Being able to go by yourself, having lunch, just enjoying yourself a little bit, not needing anybody else in that moment, just being able to do that. I'm not sure if maybe you had an anxiety around theme parks and that was something that you were overcoming. I know I have an anxiety around theme parks. Thank you very much to Final Destination. Still gonna go watch the new one when it comes out next month, but I love that for you, that you were able to just go have a little bit of fun. Gotta take a breath. Gotta take a breath. As she kicks my ribs. Anthony J. Adventure says, had surgery on Tuesday, woke up Wednesday morning with my ex-fiance holding my hand, realizing I spent the last 6 months alone and the surgery would be a big toll on my mental health. So she is here for me now, just to have someone there for me. And we're talking about a second chance at building a life together again, but doing things differently. I love that. I love that you had someone there for you, that you guys are able to talk it out. I just want to give the words of wisdom. Don't forget why you guys separated and make sure that you're addressing that specifically, and that both parties are invested in truly trying to heal that part, because sometimes you can get back with someone and it can work out beautifully, but both of you have to do the work and both of you have to be willing to do the work. So I just wanted to give that little caveat, because I hate to see people put a lot of investment in getting into a relationship or getting back into a relationship and not doing it in a healthy way for both parties. So I hope that insight helps a little bit. Sorry, my neck has been really cramped. My back is in so much pain. My back is just dying lately. Seriously, it's excruciating, but I have to stretch. I think I'm going to go do some yoga, a little bit of yoga after this. But I do love that for you, Anthony. Oh, Doggy Life says, can I see your baby bump? Oh, gonna make me stand up. I'm gonna creak here as I stand up. But yes, that is 36 weeks as of tomorrow. That is Aurora, and she's been kicking right here through most of the stream. So there's a foot over here. She's head down. So I think her butt is right about here. So she can show her butt off to the camera. I like showing her off. And yes, Aaron, yes it is. Master Gon, just another laugh one time. He came at me with a super soaker. I think I missed context. Oh, my mom was always laughing at us because we were exactly alike. Yeah, I feel like I missed too much context, but I think that he's talking about yeah, the super soaker. I smiled and said, of course, this means war. Went and got the water hose and sprayed him down. That's funny. Oh, the YouTube channel says, I just bought myself a Saw t-shirt saying I want to play a game and game over. Yes, I've watched. Oh, I watched all of them but Spiral. I did not watch Spiral, and neither has Aaron, so don't ruin that one. Eventually, we'll get around to it, but I started it and just went, wow, this is awful, and couldn't finish it. And I'm a really big fan of Handmaid's Tale, so one of the characters is from Handmaid's Tale, so it was a little bit hard to dissociate. Yeah. Somebody during the baby shower had shared that they have little Billy plushies, and I want one so bad for her. I low-key want one so bad for her. Aaron says, I think Spiral ruined itself without having to watch it. Yeah, I think Spiral was just Chris Rock flexing his power and his money and his influence, because it's not even really, from my understanding, part of the canon. It doesn't have John. It doesn't have any of the main characters. It doesn't really fit into the rest of the storyline. So I just didn't really care. I didn't really resonate with it. Thomas Lazarick says, I deactivated my Facebook account in early November and I don't miss the misery. Alleluia. I deactivated mine for a month a couple of years ago, and I've been thinking about it. I've been toying with it again lately. I kind of compromise with myself because I have a newsfeed eradicator. By the way, guys, if you struggle with your mental health in accordance to social media, like looking at other people's stuff and getting FOMO or falling into the comparison trap, there are free browser extensions that block all of that for you. It's a game changer. So if you're not ready to fully deactivate, I'm not ready, because I use a couple of groups on for my Poshmark and my Pango, and for talking to other fans of Bold and the Beautiful or Dexter or Handmaid's Tale or whatever. I connect to some communities on there. So I'm not ready to fully deactivate it, but I don't want to see everyone else's life updates. And if I do, I can go to their page and look at it from there. But I understand that, yeah, it can be so miserable because it's just everyone griping and complaining, or everyone showing off their wonderful lives and you feeling bad about yourself. And yeah, I blocked the feeds. So I know that getting away from that misery can be huge. The misery of the news, social media, of all these things. Get away from it. If you are struggling with your mental health, take a break from the media and from social media. Huge. Love it. I can feel it through the screen here. Master Conscious says Saw X was decent. I loved Saw X. I agree with Aaron that it was definitely top 3 worthy. Definitely. Oh, did David pop in? David, you did pop in. I was telling everyone that you might not make it, but I'm glad that you are here. We were sending you love earlier. Belisarius says, a win. I guess I didn't do it again. I want to daily discuss with myself not doing it. So tired of that talk. I can definitely relate to that, where it just feels like you're having the same conversation. It feels like you're stuck in that same hell loop. I'm happy that you're here, that you didn't do it again. I want to acknowledge that it's okay to have those urges and those desires, but we have to really get to the core of what's driving them, what's causing that narrative, that dialogue to keep playing. So it's not a one-way talk. Obviously, the demons, the shadow, the dark passenger, whatever you want to call it, is saying things to you and pinpointing where those things came from and how you can address them, how you can challenge them, how you can heal them. That is what I would suggest focusing on. But you are here, and that's huge. And that means that you are winning, and that means that you are able to keep that at bay. But it is important to figure out why that is lingering, why that is here. Is it something that does need to be addressed with a professional? Is it something that needs to be addressed with medication? Is it something that needs to be addressed with lifestyle changes? Whatever the case is, figuring out what is needing to be addressed. That snaps to you for still being here. Hi, Alan. Oh, there's one more in there. I was going to say, I thought I saw one more when I pulled that last one. Kevin Perry says, talk my nephew out of screwing up his marriage. Snaps to both of you for that, for being able to talk to him and for him being able to receive that, so that hopefully things can be worked out. It's nice when we can give advice and feel like we are being heard. So that is all of those wins. David since you're here, if you'd like to share a win. I have been talking about some struggles going on and whatnot. Feel free to go back and watch that later. I'm not going to repeat myself, but it seems like we're not alone, you and I, that a lot of people are really struggling for their own reasons this week. David says, started moving today, so up the pain meds, hate it, groggy with brain somersaults, healing well though. I'm glad you're healing well. I know that can be really frustrating when you're forced to take it slow. I have been kind of making lists and things of what am I going to do when she's born? Because for me, taking it easy does not just mean sitting there and watching TV. I will freak out. I will lose it. It will tank my mental health. So thinking, okay, what can I write, or what books can I read? What can I do to spend quality time with my son still? Things like that. So I definitely have been proactively thinking about that, because I can't just do nothing. And I can still, I'll have to be on bed rest for at least a few days, but I'll still be able to do the posh and the pango and everything. So I think I kind of have a good plan and set up, so it doesn't fall to that. Mr. Nobody says, with 60 years of complex PTSD and 50 years of chronic pain, I became content in my misery. Is that counterintuitive? Yeah, because nobody wants to live complacently ever after. Nobody deserves to feel complacent or live complacently ever after. And I know there's some other people in here that do deal with chronic pain and working through that and figuring out how to live a meaningful life with that. I don't think it's ever too late to start healing. So for me, I hadn't lived that long, but I did spend several decades in misery, and I had gotten comfortable being there, as uncomfortable as it was, because it was familiar, and I got kind of addicted to that familiarity almost. So yes, it is counterintuitive, but it's also a mindset that we feel like, well, it's already been this long. I can't change who I am. I am who I am. That's just the way I am. Y'all, any variation of that statement is one of my biggest pet peeves, because scientifically speaking, I had lipstick on my teeth. How long have I had lipstick on my teeth? Nobody told me. Scientifically speaking, that's not truth. We used to think that, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Mark. With how much time and effort you put into helping people, you deserve to be helped. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much. I noticed the lipstick and got distracted on that and the pledge. Okay. I think that we do get stuck thinking that we can't change. And they are finding in research now that our personality traits, our fears, our thoughts, those things are not static. They are fluid. They can be changed. For example, the one I like to use the most is people will say, well, I am just an introverted person. That's just who I am. And they used to think that that was a fixed personality trait, but now they're learning that it's not, that we can consciously change that. So just from a psychology level, we can consciously change these mindsets and these fears and these anxieties and these reasons for depression and whatnot. Master Ganja says, but I find stuff to do, and believe it or not, my goofy nature helps my fellow vets with their PTSD. Oh, I very much believe it. Most of my friends know I'm a goofball. I'm always making people laugh, but way too lazy for stand up. I prefer to sit down. Thank you. I needed that laugh. David says the room looks so much more spacious. What changed? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't feel like anything changed. I still have the same signs. I still have the same stuff on the desk. I don't know what changed. Does anybody know what changed? Oh, Mr. Nobis, I didn't get any therapeutic help for my afflictions until 9 months ago, so I have a lot of catching up to do. a lot of us are there. I know that someone that was really motivational for me, I read his book. I think it was one of my giveaways. A few weeks ago, I was doing book giveaways here on the stream for anybody that had pledged $40 or more, and I'm still happy to do that. If anybody still wants a self-help book or something, I'm happy to do that for the pledges here on the stream. But I'd gifted Sam Eaton's book called Recklessly Alive, and he had talked about how most people, from the onset of symptoms to actually getting help, it's more than, I believe, a decade between the two, that most people don't get help right away when they see symptoms of anxiety or depression. So it's not abnormal. It's not abnormal for that to occur, for us to wait a long time because we think we can handle it ourselves. We don't know where to reach out to. We can't afford to reach out, things like that. That's one of the big reasons that I will often pay to get people started with therapy here in the community, because they might not be able to afford it. So that's one of the big outreach things that I typically will do with pledges and stuff, except for this week. Like I said, pledges are for me this week, but typically that's one of the big things I'll do here in the community. Aaron says, truthfully, it's less space and sorors in there. Did you just call me fat? Did you just call me fat? I'm gonna burn the house down. David says, my win is surgery's over with and 2 days into recovery. That is a big win, and I'm very, very happy for you. Eugene says, FYI, I'm sorry to relay this, but my monthly income has been cut in half due to bureaucracy and red tape until further notice. Therefore, my ability to offer monetary support will be probably as limited as mine right now. I get it. As I was saying, as I was explaining things through the stream, yeah, mine got massively cut too, and I'm starting to get concerned with a lot of other people right now. I can understand why you're angry about that, Canada Devil or Canadian Devil. It's about 5 more minutes. Oh gosh. Apparently I was getting a lot of texts. Oh. It's a dog request. Definitely need to respond to that quickly. Don't want to lose a client or a potential client. See, I might stay on a few minutes longer. I don't know how close we are to dinner. She's starving. Definitely give everybody the opportunity to get in their wins, their pledges, their questions, their challenges. Just a warning, though, there'll probably be about another 10 minutes. So this is kind of the final call for all of those things. Oh, Mr. Nobody's also Canadian. Ellen says, I was angry, but I had Taco Bell. Now I'm just nervous. It's been a long time since I've had Taco Bell, but I do remember the Taco Bell anxiety of, am I going to make it to a bathroom? David says, pleasantly pregnant sounds like a helpline or a Woodstock hippie band. Oh, Aaron, thank you. Aaron joined our little members community. So you get fun little perks. You can use our special emojis. We have a special set of emojis just for members. You will always get priority comments in the community. So any member comments will always appear above everyone else's comments in the community. And on the streams, you will get one super chat or super sticker message each chat. So it will be highlighted and I'll for sure see it, because it gets kind of crazy in here. So I don't see every comment, but it'll ensure that I see it. So thank you. Thank you for joining the community. Just trying to message this this potential client. I love when people, why is that not sending? I love when people, you ask for crossroads and they'll give you the most abstract crossroads instead of giving you major cross streets. That is one of those things that always makes me nervous. But yay, welcome to our little pack, Avron. Aaron's is not sure why I wasn't one before. I don't talk about it super often. I know the channel promotes it. But yes, that is another great way to support the community. She's stretching out right now, so I feel like she's Supermaning, that she's pushing. She's doing the same thing my puppy Paris used to do, where she'd push out her arms and legs at the same time and just push you away. That's what Aurora's doing right now. I feel like I was just so next level exhausted. I haven't been sleeping well, partially because of pregnancy, partially because of anxiety. So I was having really bad insomnia. Talked about that. I was coming out of that in my second trimester. I was sleeping much better. And then going into my third trimester, it kicked back up really bad again because I just can't get comfortable. My back hurts really bad. I'm having, like I said, a lot of anxiety around the financial situation and everything. So I haven't been sleeping super well again. So right before this, I'm just going, oh, I'm so tired. I was so exhausted mentally, physically, financially, just all of the exhaustion, all of it, everywhere. all of it. So I feel like now I'm getting energy and I'm probably rambling a bit. Mr. Nobody says, in Canada, my therapy costs $250 per hour. That's pretty on par with what ours is. My insurance covers mine when I'm going, but I got a bill one time because they didn't bill insurance properly, and I ended up getting a bill. I got it settled, but it showed that it was $300 an hour, and this was for EMDR, by the way, which, with all due respect, it can be very helpful, but I don't think that EMDR services merit $300 an hour. That was wild to me. Oh, David says the room had 5 people in it last time. I actually had to do that count. And a Morgan. 5 people in a Morgan. I think we all need a Morgan right now. Chapay says, my wins come day by day. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. I have PTSD. It's like that for all of us, PTSD or not. Some days we're the bug and some days we're the windshield. Right. Mark Jameson says, Mr. Nobody, I think I would have to have another job before I could go to therapy. That's the thing, is it's impossible. Is that who I think it is? Would you like to come say hi to your fan club? I know they only come to see you. I know they only come to see you, sweet girl. Little Morgan. Morgan is doing so much better. I think Morgan is the perfect story, the perfect example. When we got her, she was so defeated, guys. She had completely given up. I can post a picture in the community. You could tell that she'd just given up on life. She didn't care anymore. She didn't believe in people. She was in so much pain. You could just see, it was palpable how much pain she was in just being around her. And now she'll run over and she'll kiss you and she'll really show up and be there and love on you. And she gets excited and she wags her tail and she kind of hops and she runs around. So her whole entire world changed because somebody believed in her, because somebody fought for her, because somebody helped her. And I think that she's just a really good story. She should be the mascot for the channel. of how, us loving and supporting each other and us not giving up can lead to a really happy life, even if it was years of misery. And I don't know how old she was when I first met her. I don't remember meeting her. I used to do a lot of foster and rescue, and she was one of my fosters. And apparently she had not had a good life. It was clear that she was neglected. She had to have all of her teeth removed because she had stage 4 periodontal disease. She has a scar here that I suspect was from a fight with another dog or something. You could tell us that she'd just given up on humanity and herself. But now she has come back. I didn't know her energy before, but seeing light come into her has been really, really beautiful. David says, I miss Aaron's cooking. I am so hungry right now. I love Aaron's cooking. He's a good cook. Although it's really challenging because I haven't had a lot of food cravings, but I've had a lot of food aversions. So Master Ganja says, last time I showed Fluffles or Fluffies off, my friend ran off terrified. I don't know. She's a Burmese python, 17 feet long and 125 pounds. I'm not really scared of snakes. I think snakes are cute. I'd want to cuddle her. Sandom says, how are you doing? I saw you last time when you had the baby shower online. How's the baby? Has the baby grown? Sorry, I'm just getting on. Has your baby dropped yet? You're going to be a great mom. Thank you so much. I think she's dropped. I can feel that pressure. It's kind of hard to sit down and I have to pee all the time. But she's doing good. She's killing my back. My back thinks that I'm about 138 weeks along as opposed to 36 weeks along. But everything's good. She's right on track. This week, I think the What to Expect app said that she is Swiss chard. That she's as big as Swiss chard. Was that what it was? Which is a very, very abstract, as a bunch of Swiss chard. But I can feel her pretty much from here all the way down. So, yep, she's huge. She is huge. So 5-minute last call. Wins, struggles, pledges, 5-minute last call. Oh, the YouTube channel says, does the dog know you are pregnant? I think so, because she has become a little more attentive toward my belly, but I can't say for sure because I didn't have her before. She fell into our lap. Let's see. I think it was late November when she fell into our lap. So I was already pregnant before that. So I can't say for sure, but she does seem to be very attentive to my belly at times. So I think that they know. Aw, thanks, David. David says, a tip for you to watch more indie with Aaron Butler and maybe post a short of Amanda's joy. Joy. Yep, post a video of my joy. My joy watching that. Mark says, I think a pet would be the next best thing to therapy. Only problem is when I had to put my last 2 cats to sleep, it broke my heart. I had 3 dogs that I had for 17, 15, and 9 years respectively, and they all passed away within 1.5 years of each other. And then my friend had a dog and he passed away, and I'd always promised him I'd take in his dog. So I ended up taking her in and she died in a super traumatic way. So between 2017 and last year, I lost 4 pets. And it is extremely heartbreaking. It's very difficult to get through. It's its own kind of grief. But I couldn't say no to Little Morgan, and I do think that they bring a lot of deposits for our happiness bank. They do fill our mental health bucket a lot. There's 2 more I haven't seen? Oh, I thought there was only 1. Okay. How's this baby name? Suggestion tax deduction. Be strong in the knowledge you gave them a good life. That helps me. I lost many furry friends over the years. The 2 that were most challenging for me, I mean, they were all challenging in their own way, so I can't even say most challenging, but Mirage, the one that I had for 17 years, she was my mom's dog. So when my mom passed away, I took her in, and I had her actually longer than my mom did, ironically. But when she passed, it was like losing another tangible part of my mom. And then Paris, I had her for 15 years. I'd gotten her when she was a puppy. She was rescued from a puppy mill. And she was the one that really attached to me the most. So her and I really, really bonded. She was there for me through all my major breakups and stuff throughout my life, or at least most of them, most of my losses and stuff. That one was really hard. Cairo, the youngest, I had him for 9 years. He had gone to another home, was attacked by another dog, or at least this is the story they gave me, was attacked and killed by another Chihuahua. All these dogs are Chihuahuas, by the way, by another Chihuahua. So I just feel so much guilt for letting him go. I feel so much guilt for not being there, for not fighting harder to get what I believe to be the truth, because I just don't really believe the story. And then Wendy, there's so much guilt surrounding Wendy because she's my friend's dog. He trusted me with her, and she trusted me. So I just feel like I let everyone down. But I do try to tell myself that they all had good lives. I didn't spend a lot of time with Wendy. She was only with us for about 1.5 years. And I know she had years ahead of her. I mean, Mirage passed on her own. Paris had gone blind and had doggy dementia, so we had to put her to sleep. But Cairo and Wendy, those one hit me really hard, and I kept having to remind myself, you did the best you could. You made the best decisions you could, like a parent does. So I have to tell myself that all the time. Oh, David says hi to Morgan. David's saying hi to you because he misses you. He misses you, young lady. He loves you. Aaron says Cairo is my favorite. He loved me. Cairo was a lover. If you didn't pet him, he would come over and put his head on your foot because he just needed to be touching you at all times. Can we get one last pledge for little Morgan? One last pledge for little Morgan before we get off here. And her adorableness. Give him the puppy eyes, Morgan. Give him the puppy eyes. Master Gunge is saying, hey, David, get well soon. I love you guys. And supporting each other and holding space for each other. So yeah, I think that there is the trade-off, with getting a pet and knowing that it's not going to be forever. But we take that same risk with being friends or welcoming anyone into our family. We take that risk of they might not always be there for us, whether that's because they passed away or because something else has happened and they're just not in our lives anymore. It's really, really damn difficult. It's messy and it's hard and there's no way around it. It's just hard. But I don't think I would have made it without my dogs because when nobody else was there, my dogs were. So, alrighty. Oh, hello, Holy from Germany. I love it. Master Ganja says my niece's middle name is Aurora. Aurora is our baby's name, so that's awesome. I love that. I love that we have that connection. Alan says I gave up raising organic life forms now. Just raise dust bunnies. That'll be no guilt when I kick them out. But they don't cuddle like Morgan. They don't look cute like Morgan. But I think dinner's pretty much ready and I am starving. Oh no, but now we have newbies. King is saying, I'm new. Hello. Welcome. We are about to wrap up here. But if you keep an eye on the community tab, it'll tell you when the streams are going to be. And like I said, this is just a time for us to check in with our mental health, share our wins, share our struggles. So welcome to the stream. I'm sorry that you couldn't catch more of it. I'm going to go eat because I'm currently pregnant and she's hungry and I'm hungry and can't starve the baby, right? But I'm glad that you were able to drop in at least for a bit, and welcome to the other newbies that we had here today as well. Thank you to all of the regulars for coming back. You keep coming back to me. I don't know why. Y'all are crazy. I'm just kidding. I love you. But thank you so much for the love and support and the understanding today, holding space for me where I'm at. I really do appreciate it. If you're watching this at a later time and you're wanting to make a pledge or you're wanting to support the endeavors I was talking about, I'm going to link that all in the video below. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for this time. This is kind of freaky. Don't want to freak you guys out before I get off, but this might be our last stream for a while because tomorrow's 36 weeks. And on 36 weeks, I'm doing a birthing center, not a hospital. So 36 weeks is the cutoff where I can go to a birthing center, and it's not completely out of the question that she could be born in the next couple of weeks. It's usually between 38 and 42, but babies do what babies do, and she can come when she's ready to come. So this might be her last stream, or we might have one more before we take a break. I'm not sure how long I will be taking a break from streams and stuff, but obviously I don't think you guys want me coming on here going, what's up, everybody, with like vomit on my shirt and my hair all messed up and a baby probably on my boob. I don't think you guys want me coming on like that. So I will be taking a little bit of time. I'm gonna try and pre-film some stuff. So we still have videos here and there, but I'm gonna be taking some time, and I know you guys understand that. Thank you so much. Aw, this is only to be used for Morgan. Laugh out loud. You got me with the dog. Okay, Morgan, you got a pledge, so you're gonna get some extra special treats. Okay. You're going to get some special treats, and I'll have to post some pictures so they believe me. But, of course, yes, Alan, baby's debut into the world. I will introduce her to the community once she's here. It's just gonna take a little bit. I'm gonna have to take some time to resettle. But yes, I love you guys. Keep saying I'm gonna get off. Keep babbling. That's the story of Amanda. I got that from my dad because he was from upstate New York. And I swear I remember being at family reunions where they would say goodbye 14 times. And several hours later, I'm going, Dad, I'm starving and I'm bored and I want to go home and eat or go out and eat or whatever. I remember that. So I blame my dad. But thank you guys. I love you. Thank you in advance for anybody that helps after the stream, that's watching this afterwards. Please let me know if you have any questions, or if you're watching this later, you can leave your wins or your challenges and struggles in the comments. I will see you guys soon. I love you so much. Mwah.